Hey everybody, welcome to Blood Bowl. This is Complacent Badger.
With Sierra Kilo.
And we are going to be watching the Re-AWOOOOOken and the Sunday Speedwalkers in Week 2.
What an interesting matchup, huh?
Yes. Once again, we didn't do the Week 1 stuff, but we will be talking about the Week 1 stuff in the Week 2 games because they were the same opponents.
Yeah. It's a lot more of the same a lot of times.
Yeah.
Hey, snow.
Yeah, blizzard.
What a terrible thing for an agility team who likes to throw.
The blizzard, what it's doing is go for it or knock down on a roll of 1 or 2. The blizzard only allows quick and short passes as well.
Yep. So that long bomb is going to be out of play.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be interesting to see how the teams match up on this.
I don't think anybody on Re-AWOOOOOken had leveled up last game, but we got a couple guys that are pretty close.
Yeah, there were only, I think, 2 level ups the first week, and almost because that was an intentional choice.
Okay, so 2 rerolls lost, 2 rerolls gained. The Necromantic taking the rerolls, obviously. And ball landed off field with a bad kickoff.
Yep. And so we'll just mention real quick, Sunday Speedwalkers are a veteran team.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second league that they've been in, and Re-AWOOOOOken is brand new in this league, and obviously had a lot of incentive money, and that was the Halfling Master Chef. So
yep.
We'll see what else they get to play with.
All right, starting with the blitz against the War Dancer. I don't know if I would have gone for that target, only because the werewolf, the Haru, is not decked out with block or tackle or anything, so that War Dancer is really hard to take down. I probably would have gone for alignment or something, especially with an armor value 6 right there.
I'm with you on that. It's all about getting the most bang for your buck, and that's not necessarily a high-value target for me.
And I don't know if I'm very keen on him not moving his ball carrier as one of the first actions after he got a couple guys lined up.
Right. You need to know exactly what you're going to do with that ball carrier and start having an idea for a cage. Whether or not he's figured that out yet.
Ooh. Up against the sideline, well, it's relatively safe because he does have a bunch of bodies there. Moving either one of these zombies could open up a lane and get a direct push out. But
right, and that's just a scary thing to do in the first place.
Yep.
It's just a bad habit to get in my opinion.
Yep, and then he filled the gap with a zombie, using the wizard immediately, knocking out one of the catchers. I'm not a huge fan of using wizard quickly, but it can be effective, taking the player out before they get to do anything.
I'm with you on that. I think that it's a little bit early. You really want to figure out how the opponent's going to develop, but if you've played the opponent once already and have a fairly good idea of what they're going to do, by all means, use it.
Not to mention, it was a nice grouping, so maybe he was just going for expecting this was the best time to use it.
Yeah, and that's what I like to do too. I prefer the fireball in the group because even though it's hit on a 4+, it's
Tree takes out one of the flesh golems, but luckily Regenerate saves it. Tree still getting that 2-star player points.
And that tree's scary now, huh?
Yes, the tree now has block and grab, so that is horrifying. Sturdy wood is powerful.
But still has a movement allowance of 2, so as long as you manage him effectively, it's not too bad. Plus, he still has that take route, so that decreases his chances of moving, period.
Mm-hmm. So it looked like the Speedwalkers kind of just, after taking out that flesh golem, just kind of surrounded the ball carrier, trying to put the noose around. Looks like the Necromantic team not actually putting anybody out for the potential of a pass, as the weather did clear up with a nice Blood Bowl day.
Yeah, I don't know. It's if your game plan is ground and pound and you need all those players in there, that's one thing. I think that I've kind of gone away from the Hail Mary or the last-ditch pass philosophy recently and focused really a little bit more of my attention on good cages and good use of bodies against bodies.
And that's a really good thing to do once you actually have a team set up. But right now, with a really low-level team, you gotta keep your options open. If you're not able to get the ball run, at least putting one character down pitch, or at least on the opposite side, to give you options. Putting players in other areas will also force the defense to put more coverage, and you won't have so much congestion, so that your run can be more successful.
Right, and one guy on that other side can pull 2 or more of the opponent's players, trying to create a little bit of a defensive zone.
Yep, because right now he's got every single one of his player within about a 3-space radius.
That's too tight.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot of the newer players, and obviously they're new and still learning, but tend to group up. Restricts movement and allows the defense a much easier job of just being static. You'll stop yourself with your own bodies before they have to.
Right, and we did mention that in a previous video. So the ideal cage, like we said before, is the 4-corner cage, and not having your ball carrier on the sideline, because you can force a long-distance push, a chain push, and still get that ball carrier off the field. And with the Sunday Speedwalkers on the outside, on the perimeter, on defense, if that ball gets thrown in, they have a better chance of getting it. Plus, they get first choice on the... That's...
Yep.
I wouldn't have done that. I would have used the War Dancer at the bottom and pinned him into that corner.
Yeah.
And forced him out. He would have been out if it was me.
I think I would have gone for this one first to try to get the ball carrier pushed out by pushing the zombie directly.
That's exactly what I was saying. And knowing how those angles of attack works, those push-outs.
Another option, like you were saying, with the War Dancer, you could have done a leap, declare a blitz, leap into this position, and then hit the ball carrier, which if you had somebody here, you would have been able to push out.
Yep. So that was actually one of the most beneficial things that could have happened, was that double push along the sideline. And that's something that I've been very aware of because of my werewolves having frenzy. Is I got really good the first time I played them in figuring out those angles and getting those knockouts, those push-outs. And you know, that was a detriment to me as an early player, because my werewolves, who had a better opportunity to get casualties than the rest of my players, didn't level up as fast as I thought they would, because all the injuries that they were causing to the opposing team were due to fan involvement in the knockouts.
Yeah.
So you have to balance those push-outs if you have them.
So right now with the take route, Necromantic's plan should be to just stay away.
Yep. We see a lot of the newer players try to put a lot of bodies on the big guys, when, especially in the situation of the Tree Man, it's so much easier just to stay away from him.
Yep, that's one less player you have to worry about, especially when he takes root. You can just leave him there and play against a low-man team. I do like seeing him pick up all his players. That's good risk management, making sure you're doing things in order.
Yeah.
Shadowing actually failing there. Oh, broken ribs. Doesn't get the benefit of it though, because it was pushed out.
See, that's exactly what we're talking about. Is you know, being able to get those star player points is important, but if he can get, you know, he's weighing the benefits. You push that player out, he's off the pitch. All
right, here is a classic dodge mistake. He blitzing this character, dodged into a tackle zone, taking a -1 against his +1, so basically doing a 4+, where he could have dodged out here, come up here, then gone up here and hit at the same angle, which would have been a 3+, and then moved and then blitz.
Yep, and that's one of the things that you'll learn pretty quickly, that not always is what the computer gives you the best route.
Yep, and right here, 1-die block into an attacker down, no rerolls, went down.
One dies are really tricky, and I know that I like to do them on occasion, but I do them with my player will have block, and the opponent player won't have block.
I would not have hit with that zombie. I would have got that ghoul up there.
Yep, I'm with you on that. That's when block becomes really powerful.
Yes, definitely. When you have it and your opponent doesn't.
That was a long way to go for a blitz.
Yes. On a target that I wouldn't really consider necessary to hit.
Yep.
Alright, taking one step. Could have at least gotten to here or here more safely.
I would have gone to the ad.
Honestly,
The
with
further you go, the better.
yeah, honestly, with just that thrower, I would have gone all the way, just one space away from the sideline, gone as far as I could without doing go-for-its.
Yeah, because he's got enough players on that side of the pitch now where he can maintain superior numbers.
Yep,
Even
and
if he takes that hit, that ball is probably not going to go out, and you're going to be able to reclaim it next turn.
And you don't have a lot of turns to be playing around back here. Ooh.
That's another thing we've seen kind of overall in the new players is occasionally having an inability to move the ball.
Mm-hmm. That one die block into an attacker down as basically the first move after picking up everybody is going to turn the tides really fast, though.
Yep.
However, pushing that elf into your ghoul ball carrier might rectify that mistake. One die blocks for days, another one, and it fails. I've seen at least 4 turnovers to one die blocks this game already.
I have a feeling that it's going to continue in the second half as well.
Hey, a one die. So, for anybody who's watching at home, I don't like one die blocks. I don't know if that pass was necessary. Maybe trying to get it to somebody with block for more protection?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know if I'd be...
Sometimes, yeah.
I don't even know if I'd be picking up these zombies. Alright, so... going for the ball. Agility 5, probably would have maybe gone for it, but I probably would have tried to move my characters up to cover the ball a little bit in case I messed up instead of just leaving him there. Alright.
That was a lot of quick turns at the end of the half, huh?
Yeah, a lot of failed rolls without trying to get better positioning to... well, along with the risk management, you really want to have insurance on any of your plans. If it doesn't take any rolls or it takes very simple rolls, make sure that you're covering the ball or covering the players that you have in question that may mess up the roll, especially if you don't have re-rolls. You want to make sure that if you mess up, it doesn't allow your opponent the upper hand.
Right, and there's failure is part of this game, but it's your responsibility as the coach to make the best decision based on the available odds. So there are a lot of things that you can do to either increase or decrease your odds, and just putting a player on the ball helps a lot. If you try to pick it up and fail, you have an opportunity for it to bounce into another player's hands for a free attempt to pick it up.
Or at least have somebody there tagging it to make it more difficult for the opponent to pick it up after you mess up.
100% true, because every opposing player that has a tackle zone on that ball is a -1 for the pickup, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. No safety in the back, forcing a one die on a frenzy character and getting an attacker down, and then doing her patent move the guy forward, then pass so that it's completely stationary and ready for the blitz. Not a real big fan of that move. Could have gotten an additional die there, but chose not to. Most likely this will now be a touchdown because he, instead of blitzing with the guy with block and getting an assist from the other character, opted for a one die.
Right. So that's going to be what I say is going to be the game changer. It's things like that where If that was a really important move, I'd have put as many bodies as I can on it. That is your priority, that ball carrier. And the agility value, the agility of that character means that it's essentially guaranteed to dodge out.
And
because no matter how many players you have on it, it's a standard dodge out. But if it were going into another player, another opponent's tackle zone, that's when the negative modifiers roll in.
Yep. I don't know how she keeps getting touchdowns with the guy standing completely still. It works.
And I think, yeah. Hey, you know what? And that's sometimes the flaw of success. Now, if she continues doing that with a little bit more experienced coaches or some players who are upgraded as well, it's probably not going to work out in her favor as often. But like you said, that move where she dodges through and then immediately throws could be a risk. We'll see how it turns out the rest of the season, but I prefer placing a player when they're in a minimum threat situation and then passing to them maybe on the next turn when they have an opportunity to get or to have more than one player out there as a defense, because it obviously works, so you can't you can only say so much about things that work, whether or not they should or shouldn't, or it's a good or bad idea in that particular case. Obviously worth the risk because it put the points on the board.
Mm-hmm. Doing a proper cage right now, and it shows a little stronger, spreading out his players a little bit more.
I think that's the way to go, and he needs to remember not to pin himself against the sidelines and focus on blocks that lead to ball movement. Blitzes that lead to ball movement, like blitz up the middle, get a guy off of your guys, and then move 3 or 4 spaces when you can. Yep,
the blitz is definitely what's going to always open up your lanes for movement, so you need to make good use of it. Or do that.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a good option if he wanted to do that. I don't know if I would have gone for the 4+ dodge into a 1-die blitz. Always keep in mind that the 1-die block, a lot of newer players think that, okay, I have a chance of putting my opponent down, which means that they're no longer in my way, I can move the ball. But also consider that their turn comes up next. If your guy is down because you messed up, even if you both down, that character they had immediately gets up and walks away.
Right.
You have more to lose on a 1-die block than you have to gain.
I absolutely agree with that. I equate that to passing with an agility 3 player. You know what I mean? Passing and catching is you might as well be using a throwing game for all the benefit that these 1-die blocks are doing, because you have the same odds of success.
Better odds with agility 3 passing game.
That's what I'm saying. Those 1-die blocks are really a high risk, but you have to explain it to people in a way that they can really understand. A lot of the new players tend to go towards bashy teams because they want to engage, and you don't see a lot of early players playing agility teams doing terribly well early until they learn how to effectively manage the field, the space on the field, the spacing between their players, and how to engage but not engage.
Yes.
You can do a very good job of engaging the opponent without being in one of their tackle zones where you're at risk of being knocked down immediately next turn, because these agility teams aren't built for that. They can hang for a little bit, but as soon as you're 1 player down, it makes a big difference to those agility teams.
Alright, so getting in another situation where the Necro team is very boxed in and doesn't have a lot of options. However, she is striking instead of picking up players, so we'll see where that goes.
True. Now you need to get more of your players ahead of your ball carrier right now, because there's no way to advance the ball if you don't have players up there to support.
More 1-dies. That was a good move, pushing him out the pitch.
Yep.
Alright, and then foul with your arguably deepest character into the enemy end zone, or enemy zone, because that zombie's not going to be helping much. Damage back, but regenerate zombie. Yeah, I don't know why he fouled there. That was not a good move.
Turn 14-15. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. That's the appropriate time in the game, I think, to kind of throw a desperation move. But because worst case scenario, you get a guy off the pitch.
Yeah, but I still felt like he had a chance of getting a touchdown on that one.
I agree, but
could have tied it.
Mentality.
Just kind of given up. So it's 2 fouls. Alright, so that's basically the game. No chance of 2 touchdowns in 1 turn. Necro team's going to have to find their groove. I don't think they found a groove that entire game. They were playing the Elves had just a waiting game until the Necro messed up.
Yep, and that's a good way to play with an agility team, is to kind of hang back on defense, frustrate the ball carrier, because they're not going to be able to have the dodge ability that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So by staying 1 space away, you mitigate their ability to move the ball.
Well, unfortunately, she wasn't using a standard zone defense tactic. She was playing like a bash team and getting up close. The Necromantic team unable to move around units because he was so tied up in very small, condensed areas that he couldn't make blocks happen.
Right, and you can't make blocks happen unless you have a free body to assist.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the waterfall effect, where 1 assist leads to
more.
A 2-die tackle, and then you can move that next guy, and that next guy, and that next guy, and it works very well in tight spaces like that, but you need to keep a guy free in support.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be the difference.
Yeah. Suggestions to the Necromantic: you need to focus more on keeping your guys spaced out and focusing on the strength of your players. Your ghouls are fairly decent at dodging, so put them in situations that allows them routes to dodge out of. Your whites are good for blitzing. Use them for blitzing. If you're blitzing with a ghoul, either he was the only guy there or you're wrong.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Use your guys with block, because they have a better chance of knocking down other players.
Yeah, right here, 83% ball possession is unacceptable for a 0-2 score. I mean, you're new.
So, yep.
You're
42 yards running.
Yep. You're brand new, and I totally understand that, but you got to be able to move your characters. For the Sunday Speedwalkers, you did a good job. I probably wouldn't have played as aggressively as you did, with all the 1-die blocks and putting yourself in positions that was going to get characters injured. Fortunately, it worked out because he wasn't able to move units and get them in the proper positions to get 2-die blocks on you, and messed up a lot on them. And I would suggest to wean yourself off of the moving into position, then passing the ball to that player, and then just allowing them to get blitzed and let's just see what happens. It will not work against, I would say, half the teams in the league, if not more. And then once people start seeing it and understanding how to stop it by hitting you, it won't work. You do have blodge, so that's one benefit, but somebody's going to get tackled. It's going to happen.
And there are players out there with strip ball as well, so that's the big counter to that. So just be careful. Great game. Congratulations, 2-0 victory. Very patient game on defense, but those 1-dies, bad mojo.
Yep. Both played well, and I hope to see you guys again, and thanks for watching.
Cheers.